HMS Prince of Wales was a cutting-edge battleship of the United Kingdom during World War II. Although its life was short, its military history can be described in great detail. It participated in the encirclement and sinking of the Bismarck, as well as ventured to Southeast Asia. It was there that the Prince of Wales was attacked by the Air Force, marking the end of its journey. Many people are puzzled as to why the United Kingdom would send the Prince of Wales to Southeast Asia without air cover. The United Kingdom was the first to establish a dedicated air force and explore aircraft carrier technology. By the outbreak of World War II, they already had a number of aircraft carriers. The British aircraft carriers participated in multiple actual combat situations. In the pursuit of the Bismarck, it was the British Swordfish carrier-based aircraft that discovered the target and successfully inflicted heavy damage on the enemy ship, creating an opportunity for the complete destruction of the Bismarck. Then, on November 11, 1940, the British Mediterranean Fleet launched a surprise attack on the Taranto port with aircraft from the HMS Illustrious, dealing a heavy blow to the Italian Navy. With so many actual combat examples, it is believed that the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom must have been aware of the vulnerability of surface warships without air cover in the face of the Air Force. In 1941, the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom was facing unprecedented pressure, needing to deploy its main fleet to surround the British Isles and blockade the remaining surface warships of the German Navy. A large number of destroyers, cruisers, etc. were dispatched to escort merchant ships or search for submarines. Additionally, a portion of the main fleet had to be sent to the Mediterranean to support the fighting in North Africa. Although the Royal Navy was large in scale, it was still very difficult to simultaneously handle two major war zones. After all, the enemy was not to be underestimated. Any slackness in deployment could be exploited by the enemy. However, at the end of the year, the situation in the Pacific became increasingly unstable, and the Japanese military could at any time advance south to occupy British interests. Just before the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom decided to send a fleet to support the Far East Fleet. This action was not only related to the interests of the United Kingdom itself, but also in accordance with the requirements of the Atlantic Charter at that time. In other words, whether the United Kingdom was considering its own interests or maintaining its alliance, it had to support Southeast Asia, even if it was just symbolic. First of all, it should be noted that the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom sent the Z Fleet to Southeast Asia with air cover in mind. This fleet included the HMS Prince of Wales battleship, the HMS Repulse battlecruiser, and 4 destroyers. The size of this fleet was not very large, but it also took into account both anti-aircraft and anti-submarine aspects. After successfully arriving in Southeast Asia, it would also be a force to be reckoned with. Furthermore, the Prince of Wales had 355 mm armor on both sides, as well as 50 anti-aircraft guns, along with the support of 4 destroyers and a battlecruiser. The density of anti-aircraft ammunition was very high. Unfortunately, the HMS Prince of Wales lost real-time air cover in the Western Indian Ocean when the HMS Prince of Wales carrier was stranded, and in Southeast Asia, it could only rely on the protection of the British land-based Air Force. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Admiral Phillips, the commander of the Far East Fleet, decided to send the Z Fleet, which had been briefly reorganized in Singapore, to the Malay Peninsula. Many people in later generations were puzzled by his decision to let the Z Fleet operate without air cover within the operational range of the Japanese Air Force. In fact, for Admiral Phillips, he was still confident in this gamble. First of all, the Z Fleet itself had good defensive capabilities. If it faced an airstrike from carrier-based aircraft like the Swordfish, there was a good chance of surviving, especially with the ability to contact the land-based Air Force for their support, greatly increasing the chances of success. As the brave Royal Navy, it was necessary to adhere to the spirit of Nelson's combat, and a navy that was in retreat was not a qualified navy. On the other hand, the The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in the Southeast Asia region meant that they were opposing countries such as the United States and the Netherlands, which still had varying numbers of troops stationed in Southeast Asia. This meant that the Japanese military was actually outnumbered, and their strength could be divided. If the Z Fleet had the good fortune to not be attacked from the air, or to survive the attack, then the 14-inch main guns of the Prince of Wales could have dealt a devastating blow to the Japanese landing forces, potentially causing a rapid reversal of the entire battle situation. However, all of this was too idealistic. First, the Japanese sent out advanced bombers, the Type 96 and Type 1 land-based attack aircraft, in a total of 4 waves of attacks, with a total of 86 aircraft deployed. This kind of scale would be a disaster for any fleet, and even if they survived, they would be severely damaged. Secondly, there were issues within the British military. There were coordination problems with wartime information, not only leading to faulty intelligence, but also causing the Z Fleet to make a wasted trip, and the communication with the Air Force was not smooth. When the Z Fleet was attacked from the Air Force did not even know the exact position of the Z Fleet. The anti-aircraft guns that were expected to perform well were also found to have poor ballistic performance and were no longer suitable for modern anti-aircraft combat tasks. In this way, the Prince of Wales, as the core of the Z Fleet, sank into the sea just a few months after entering service, and was seen by many as a symbol of the end of the battleship era.